Clean it like riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.
For Sean, he is happy with his philosophical stance.
Yeah. So Matt Adams said
James, holy shit.
that he could not prove he is not a brain in a vat. He cannot prove he is not a dung beetle in a vat. So you should mock Matt Adams too, because that's what Sean said.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah,
heard Matt
mock
Adams
Matt's
say.
I didn't say it was likely.
Yeah, I didn't hear Matt Adams
mock
say he could
Matt's
be a dung
intellectual
beetle.
honesty. I mean, James, I don't understand how you can do that picture and like mock Sean and something for being just intellectually honest. But then you just dodged my question, which is the only question I asked you like 10 times. It just like boggles my mind. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, Billy, I don't try to dodge your question. Sometimes you try to butt in a conversation and take it over. And in
Oh,
this
that's
particular case, they were wanting to know what Praise I Am had to say, and so the Tom shifted over to Praise. It's not like you and I were having a conversation, and I said, "Whatever, Billy." Also, you know, I had to go to bed at a certain point. I also have work in the morning. I know you know what work is like.
okay.
I
So
did
first
have
of
a
all,
question.
I do butt into conversations quite a bit. Haiti is correct there. I think I like took over a conversation. Well, it was yesterday for me, but whatever. That's true. But I don't understand how that's relevant to my point at
Well, no,
all.
your point is that
I asked.
somehow I'm sitting there intellectually dishonest, trying to ignore your question, and here I am, Billy, just simply pointing out to you that the mod's redirected to Praise. Then he wanted to get Jack's thoughts on it. Then I had to go to bed. And here you are assuming that I don't want to engage with you for some like reason.
Look, I mean, I just after I asked the question the first time, you continue to engage with other people.
Cause you
So it's not like
cause
you
you
weren't.
butted in the conversation, Billy. I was in the middle of a
Oh wait,
conversation and you tried to interject your way in. Then the mods wanted Praise to give an answer. It was their room. Look, I have no problem having conversations with you. And you probably could have like restated your question by now, but you are very like concerned about the meta.
okay, well let's do that. Okay, so what do you mean by metaphysical impossibility?
So we were looking at like time, space, matter. How the world functions. And so when I look at examining the world around me, and like I said, I like the G. Moore approach, which is that I can see physical objects, I can interact with physical objects, and then I would argue that when you start looking at the hypothesis of a brain in a vat, who came up with it? What are they asserting? Why are there reasons? Is there anybody in the room who wanted to defend that? No, no one believed that they were a real brain in a vat. No one wanted to defend it. So I don't see any justification to go any further. Then also, I like the other approach of his, which is if somebody keeps pushing it like they want this question and demanding it answered, but they don't want to defend the proposition, then I think that mockery is something that should be done after that.
I don't understand how any of that was an answer to the question. What do you mean by when you say something is metaphysically impossible? What do you mean by that? Because I understand what it means for something to be logically impossible, meaning that it's contradictory or entails a contradiction. I understand what it means for something to be nomologically impossible, meaning that um, it violates some known law of physics. I don't understand what it means for something to be metaphysically impossible. I don't understand how any of that was an answer to that question.
Do you know what metaphysics is, Billy?
Yeah.
why don't you explain to me what you think metaphysics is so that we can see if we are even on the same page?
Look, I just want to know: are
I know
you going
I
to
need to
answer
make
the?
sure, Billy, because I gave you like points in metaphysics and things that like metaphysics handles, and it's like you did not interact with that, and you said I didn't answer your question. So now I need to know if even you and I are using the same definition. So could you please define what you
Okay,
believe
I'll humor
metaphysics
you.
is?
That's fine. I'll humor you. So, metaphysics would be the study of things that are beyond the physical, um, like universals, particulars. Well, particulars are often physical, but you might have metaphysics of
It's
time.
actually it's
Um,
actually the branch in philosophy that deals with the first order of things, including
okay.
abstract concepts. When you're looking at time, space, identity, all those things are what
Uh huh.
metaphysics handles. So when I'm describing that, I'm going through the world around me, and you've put up this proposition: could we be a brain in a vat? No one is wanting to defend the proposition. No one is
It's not
giving
about.
any positive. No one is giving any positive evidence, anything substantial to make you to consider it. Then I look at the world around me. I observe um, abstract things. I observe uh, things that are physical within my reality. I have my two hands in front of me. I have my cell phone. I have the doctor's office that I'm about to go in. When I start looking at reality, I see that I can identify easily that I exist, and I can identify easily that other people exist. But so just because you ask a question does not mean that it's worth, uh, you know, pining over or considering or thinking that it's some kind of defeater for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you've said. I mean, I think there are good reasons to believe that I'm not a brain in a vat. I don't think I am a brain in a vat. I don't consider it. I'm not going to defend the view that I'm a brain in a vat because I don't think it's reasonable. Um, However, I think it's possible. Um, but you said it was impossible. You said it was metaphysically impossible, and I still don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, it has to do with like the essence.
Oh, thanks, e-bike. That clears
Yeah,
Uh,
everything
thanks for
up.
that. Cleared it up. Well done.
So
Essence.
when
so
Got
like
it.
so when you're looking at like logical possibility, and then you're saying, is this logically possible? Is this philosophically possible? Does this seem empirically possible? And you're looking at all these things to combine to see what is truth. And we would all say that, like, you can have a syllogism that's valid but not sound. You can have logical possibilities that aren't actualized in any kind of reality and can't be actualized. In this particular sense, I see nothing that would make me ever consider an evil scientist and the Matrix or anything else that you're trying to bring up. Now, when you say, well, why not? I'm like, well, what information or data are you claiming that is out there that I need to strongly consider this is a real world application? And when I ask you that, Billy, and I ask every other atheist, it's, well, I don't have anything or there is nothing. Do you see like where this issue comes up?
Asking you to strongly
So are you
consider
just
this.
saying that it's not the case?
Jovan, let me and Billy
Are
talk,
you just?
please.
I mean, I got to go in 3 minutes, but are you just saying it's not the case,
Joe,
Jovan? You
you're
robot.
Jovan,
roboting.
you're roboting.
You're roboting.
Please stop interrupting, Jovan. Go ahead, Billy.
Are you just saying it's possible, but the view is false and it's not reasonable? Because I can agree with you on that. But yesterday you said it was impossible.
It's impossible when it comes to metaphysics. It's
Yeah.
impossible that
What does
it's
that mean?
Billy. I've already explained to you what metaphysics is, and I gave you like several definitions. I gave you points within it. I've been running through this, and even you agreed with me on my definition and how I was describing metaphysics. It's just when you look at something that's logically possible, who cares? You could make like some asinine statement like uh, a pink dragon will come up when the sun comes up. The sun's coming up tomorrow, therefore a pink dragon will come up. Well, who actually believes that there's a pink dragon? Like Billy, it's one of these things that like things are interesting for maybe thought experiments, but they're not really anything to consider
That's what I'm
real
doing.
world
It is a
application.
thought experiment.
And
Look,
I
that's the
and I
point. That
absolutely and I absolutely don't care to interact with a thought experiment unless you are going to
uh,
defend the proposition that you could be a
look.
brain in a vat.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can perfectly defend the view that I could be a brain in a vat. That's perfect. I'm perfectly happy to do that. Um, but look, the point is that
What is the evidence
okay,
that's
you've
convincing
defined.
you that you
I
could
don't
be a
think there's
brain in a
any.
vat?
I don't think there's any evidence for it. I'm just saying it's possible.
So
Look,
you
the
want to
point is
defend
that.
something that
Wait,
you
just
don't
one
believe
second.
has evidence, Billy.
I'm going to defend that it's possible. I'm not going to defend that it's true. But look, the point
I
is,
rest my case.
that you've defined. I don't know what that means, but look, you've defined metaphysics, right? And I understand. I'm on board with your definition. But I still don't know what it means to be metaphysically impossible, right? You can define logic, right? You can give me the logical laws or something, but you then need to say further that what it means to say um, that something is logically impossible is that it entails some sort of propositions of the form P and not P. Um, and then you can say, okay, so it's impossible to have a square circle, and I can grasp that concept, right? I
But Billy, I'm
understand
not.
that.
Billy, look, you and I both believe that there's no evidence. And you and I know that there can be philosophical evidence, there can be empirical evidence. You and I have just agreed there's no evidence for a brain in a vat. So you want me
I
to
think it's
defend
possible.
this
Do you think it's possible?
thing, Billy? I don't think that you're working with me here. Like you keep agreeing and then you keep shifting back. If you and I both
We're
agree that
just
there's
talking
no
past each
evidence,
other.
if you and I both agree that there's no evidence, then you and I have already agreed that it's not worth strongly actually considering that you're a brain in a vat.
Okay.
That's it.
But do you think it's possible?
We've already covered this, Billy, when we described logical possibility, and I attempted to explain to you what metaphysical possibility was, and we even discussed philosophical, valid versus sound. I don't know what else I can give you, Billy, on that, other
Okay,
than
well, look, I
to
need to
go
go to
to
work,
the
but I
next
did
step.
want to hear what Jovan wanted to say, so I'll pass it off to him
Well,
for the last 10 minutes, and then I gotta go to work.
someone else can interact with Jovan. I have a doctor's appointment, so I'm getting ready to go in there.
I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.